The architectural exhibition Structures of Mutual Support made history as the first national pavilion from the Philippines and Southeast Asia to win a special mention at the Venice Biennale. The winning entry explored the idea of building together as the team did a workshop at the Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Farm to discover what the community needed for this library within a village. Here with us are Sudarshan Khadka Jr. and Alexander Eriksson Furunes to talk about this bayanihan-inspired work. Bravo! Congratulations, gentlemen, on the triumph at the Venice Biennale, a first for the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Rico. It's a great honor to have represented the country, and we are grateful for all the support that we have received.
Sudarshan, let me start off with you. How was the architectural design of this community library resolution space conceptualized?
So the library was designed and built through mutual support with the GK Enchanted Farm community in Bulacan. And we submitted the proposal together with them for the open call. And this is the Philippine participation at the 2021 Venice Architecture Biennale. So the project is commissioned by the NCCA, the DFA, the Office of Congresswoman Lauren Legarda, with the PAVB. So at the start of the project, we did not have a fixed idea what we were going to build. So Alex and I have been developing a design process that focuses on creating a space for deliberation so that the community's voices and ideas are expressed and heard. So through this open-ended process and through a series of workshops over the course of a month, we discovered that the community, what the community wanted, and in this case, it was a library and a conflict mediation space. So we began the design and build it together this way. And so this is the structure that you see there in Venice, and it brought back home to the community after the exhibition.
So, Alexander, when you found out that your project at the Venice Biennale won, what was the feeling like?
I mean, it's first of all, we're really honored to be able to represent Philippines in Venice, but also the whole idea of talking about bayanihan in the context of the question, which is the Biennale topic, is how will we live together is really important. I mean, these are traditions that we have and that we practice not only in the Philippines, also in Norway, where I'm from. We call it dugnad. And these traditions, they really are ways for people to live together and also to build together. And I think that's what we are trying to express in the project for the Biennale in the Philippine Pavilion.
And Alexander, how challenging was it to build this library?
I think the challenge, like Sudha was saying, is we started the process without knowing what we're going to create. And we did this together with the community in GKEF. And, it's a journey that we make together. So we don't really, there's no predictability in it. It's something that we are kind of exploring collectively. And that's the kind of also the joy of working together, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
And Sudarshan, this collaboration between you and Alexander didn't happen overnight. You've been working together over the past 8 years on quite a number of projects, and it all started in Tacloban after Typhoon Yolanda.
Yes, it did. It did, definitely. And so at that point, I was working with a different firm, Leandro Villoxin Partners, and we volunteered to design and build this project together with Alex through this process that we are developing. And we've been working together ever since 2013 and then onwards. Basically.
And of course, the big question now is, Sudarshan, when will that library return to the Philippines and when will it be officially used?
So we plan to bring back the library home to the community as soon as we dismantle it in November of this year. And we have it back up by the end of the first quarter next year. So it's really been a long journey to this point, but we believe that its life only truly begins once the community is able to use it as part of their life.
And Alexander, it hasn't been a long journey indeed. I mean, the pieces of this library were sent overseas before the pandemic, and then we had the pandemic, and now it has been featured at the Venice Biennale, one of the most prestigious art biennales in the world. What future projects can we expect between you and Sudarshan going forward?
Well, we're now working also in Norway in the same way through the Norwegian tradition of dugnad. We are building a community center here in Oslo. But we're also initiating another collaborations with other curators in the Biennale, such as the Japanese Pavilion, to kind of see how we can develop the materials that they created So this is really a journey where we're trying to go deeper into the traditions of mutual support, bayanihan, dugnad, and all how these things can inform the way we build. This is definitely the next steps in the future for us. Yeah.
And Sudarshan, this exposure in the Venice Biennale, what doors has it opened for you and for Alexander?
I think a lot of it is maybe about making more connections to our networks of curators and architects globally. I think a lot of it has to do with finding these traditions are relevant in other cultures as well. So every culture that has this tradition, when they come to the exhibition and see that their tradition is represented in the exhibition material that we have, they immediately understand that there is a connection to be made between how we are building this in the Philippines and how they could potentially build this in their own cultures as well.
And has this pandemic impeded the progress of building new structures, not only the Philippines, but around the world?
I mean, I definitely think that the pandemic has prevented people from meeting. And I think a big part of these traditions is that you meet face to face, you work together, and you make it a social gathering when you create something. So the lack of ability to meet physically has been an impediment for sure. But at the same time, we're seeing how these traditions now emerging in different contexts in response to the challenges that the pandemic is kind of presenting. So, I think this is something we're still trying to understand, and hoping that we get over it, the pandemic.
Alexander, Sudarshan, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word, and congratulations. The whole Philippines is very proud of you both.